The Boy Behind the Dress, written by CD Link PH. Is he a boy or a girl? That's the question people always ask when they see Julian, a boy raised as a girl who loves dresses and makeup. Some say he's gay, but is he really? Maybe not, because he's in love with his best friend and only protector Jamie. But what if Jamie only sees him as a younger sister, not as a man? How can he prove that even if he longs to become a woman, his heart still belongs to one?
Chapter 1. A New Friend. 10-year-old Julian was running as fast as he could, but no matter how fast he ran, the group of boys chasing him was always close behind. Juliana. Gay boy. Juliana. Gay boy. He's gonna cry. He's gonna cry, taunted the meanest of them, Noel, the neighborhood's biggest bully. He and his gang laughed while throwing stones at Julian. Julian collapsed to the ground, hugging his knees and crying, trying to block out their cruel words by covering his ears. Hey, Noel, you jerk, taking on someone smaller than you again? A girl suddenly appeared. She looked about the same age as him. She marched up to Noel and smacked him on the head. Chill out, Jamie. We're just playing with Juliana, right? Noel quickly changed his tone, pretending to be nice. Julian didn't answer. He kept his head down, his knees scraped from all the running. Since when does playing involve throwing rocks? Huh? Go tell that to your bald grandma. The girl snapped. You should be ashamed of yourselves picking on a girl. Noel scratched his head awkwardly, glared at Julian, and walked away with his gang. Julian was still trembling from fear. The girl came over and reached out her hand to help him up. Julian hesitated, but as soon as he touched her hand, he quickly pulled back. What was that? It felt like an electric shock. You okay? She asked. Julian couldn't respond. His cheeks turned red as he stared at her bright, smiling face. You're so pretty. Why are they picking on you? She asked again. And that dress, wow. It's like a princess dress. Where'd you buy it? Julian's throat tightened as she gently touched the fabric, stepping even closer. What's your name? I'm Jamie. She held out her hand again. Still, he said nothing. His heart was racing, and his cheeks were burning. Cat, got your tongue. I guess those bullies really scared you, huh? She said, smiling gently. Don't worry, I'm here now. They won't mess with you again. Can we be friends? I only know Noel around here. We just moved in, but he's a bully, so I don't want to hang out with him anymore. She rolled her eyes. And honestly, I haven't seen many girls in this neighborhood. Everyone plays with tow guns and acts all macho. I'm glad I found you. Want to play paper dolls? Jamie kept talking even though Julian barely said a word. Before he knew it, she was already pulling him toward her house. Her house was small, unlike Julian's, which was big. She gathered some books and stacked them up to create a makeshift dollhouse for the paper dolls she had drawn herself. Your toes are kinda boring. Let's go to my house. I've got Barbies and even a real dollhouse, Julian said, showing off a little. Really? You'll let me play with them? Jamie's eyes lit up. Julian nodded. Okay, let's go. And just like that, the two headed to his house.
Chapter 2. The Truth About His Gender. Jamie was clearly in awe the moment she stepped into their house. Julian stood a little taller, proud of the way she admired their home. You and Noel must be rich, Jamie said. Why died? My mom just sells fish at the market. Her excitement only grew when she saw his Barbie doll collection. They weren't just any dolls, some were imported. Gifts from his mom during her trips to Japan. Wow, this dollhouse is huge. I could probably sleep in here. Amazing, Jamie said in total amazement. And she was right, it was huge. Even bigger than her entire house. Then Jamie froze when she noticed a photo frame by the corner of Julian's room. Ah, so cute. Is that your brother? She asked, pointing at a photo of a woman holding a naked baby boy. I don't have a brother, Julian replied shortly, his eyes darting away. Then, who is this? Jamie asked, confused. That's Emmy, Julian answered. Embarrassed, Jamie's eyes widened, and she slowly turned to look at him again, scanning him from head to toe. You're a boy, she blurted out, completely shocked. At that exact moment, Julian's parents arrived. Panic surged through him when he saw Jamie frozen in place. It was too late to hide her. Dad. This is ... He stammered, unsure why he felt so nervous about his parents seeing him play with a girl. Oh, you've got a friend over, his dad said, delighted to see Jamie. Hi, sir. How are you? I'm Jamie, she greeted cheerfully, offering a polite handshake. Well now, aren't you a polite one? Said his dad, smiling. Are you new around here? We just moved in last month, Uncle. Just call me Uncle Albert. And this is my wife, Elvira. Nice to meet you both, Uncle Albert and Elvira. Jamie beamed. When did you and our son meet? Elvira asked excitedly. Just today, ma'am. I saw Juliana playing outside, Jamie said innocently. We don't usually let our wait. Juliana? His dad repeated in surprise. Jamie glanced at Julian awkwardly and scratched her head. That's what the kids outside call him. But he already told me. He's actually a boy. His parents exchanged a glance, then invited Jamie to stay for dinner.
Later that evening, Jamie's point of view. Thank you for playing with our son, Julian's parents said as they sat with her in the living room while Julian was fast asleep. Jamie smiled warmly. Why are you thanking me? Julian's really sweet and fun to be with. I'm happy to be his friend. The couple looked at each other again. Do you really see him as a friend, Jamie? Albert asked gently. Of course. Why do you ask? Even if he's a boy but wears dresses, Elvira added. Yes, of course. Julian's adorable. He's like a real-life Barbie doll, she said with a giggle. Elvira smiled with a sigh of relief. To be honest, it's kind of my fault, she admitted. When I was pregnant with Julian, the ultrasound said we were having a girl. So we bought all things girly dresses, dolls, pink everything. I've always dreamed of having a daughter. And after he was born, I developed postpartum depression. I raised him as a girl. I didn't really know what to do either, Albert added. I just went along with it, afraid her condition might get worse. And honestly, Julian seemed to enjoy wearing dresses and playing with dolls. I eventually got better, Elvira continued. But by the time Julian turned 8, he still believed he was a girl. We had homeschooled him all his life, so he didn't have friends. And the doctors told us he might have mild autism. That made it harder for us to tell him the truth right away. Jamie slowly began to understand why Julian loved dresses so much. In fact, it was just last year when he finally found out he was really a boy, after some of the neighborhood kids, like Noel, started bullying him. Elvira said sadly, we honestly didn't want to let him go outside anymore. But we also didn't want to steal his childhood. Even after learning the truth, Julian still refuses to wear boys' clothes, Albert said. We bought him so many, but he never touches them. We've decided it's better to let him be where he's most comfortable. So thank you, Jamie, Elvira said, gently holding her hands. We've never seen Julian this happy. You've given him hope. Please, Albert added, don't ever stop being his friend. Don't give up on him. Jamie gave them both a big smile. You don't have to worry. I really like Julian, and I'll do everything I can to protect him. I won't leave him. The couple smiled and embraced her warmly. Then we'll treat you like our daughter too. Welcome to the family, Jamie, they said. Jamie smiled, but deep inside, a pang of envy hit her. Julian's parents were so kind and loving. They truly cared about him, not like her own dad, who barely noticed her anymore after remarrying. Her stepbrother got all the attention now. If only she really were part of this family.
Chapter 3. The Promise. 2 weeks passed. Julian and Jamie had become the best of friends. Jamie now came over to Julian's house almost every day without even needing to ask. Julian's parents were always happy to see her. Everyone in the neighborhood thought Julian might be on the autism spectrum, which was why no one really wanted to be his friend. But Jamie didn't care. She liked him just the way he was. Now that you know you're a boy, Jamie asked one day as they played with Barbie dolls, why do you still wear dresses? Because I feel comfortable in them, Julian replied innocently. And this dress is so pretty, right? It looks good on me, doesn't it? Jamie blinked. Yeah, it does. But you're still a boy. You should wear boys' clothes. That's why Noelle and the others call you Juliana. They think you're gay. Gay? What does that even mean? Julian tilted his head, confused. Jamie paused. I asked Mama that before. She said gay means a guy who likes other guys. Do you like boys, Julian? Like someone? How do you even know if you like someone? Julian asked again. Jamie thought about it. Maybe if you always want to be around them. But even she wasn't sure what she was saying. Maybe they were still too young to understand it all. Well, I do like you. I actually don't like boys at all. They're sweaty like Noelle. But you? You always smell good. I like you. Julian declared proudly. Jamie's face turned bright red. Something leapt inside her chest, and her heart started pounding loudly. What is that? She whispered to herself, pressing her hand to her chest. Is something wrong, Jamie? Julian asked, concerned. Jamie pointed to her chest. Here. When you said you liked me and that I smelled nice, it got hard to breathe, and my heart started beating really fast. I think we need a doctor. You know, I felt the same way when I first saw you. This might be bad for our health. What if we're dying? Julian said, worried. We are not dying. Don't be so dramatic. Jamie rolled her eyes. Then why do we feel this way? Julian asked, still completely innocent. Maybe we're just thirsty. Let's go drink some water. Jamie suggested quickly. They went to the kitchen and started playing with the refrigerator light, turning it on and off, then hanging out inside to enjoy the cool air. When they got bored, they went outside to the garden. Jamie made a flower crown and placed it gently on Julian's head. He really did look like a princess. You're really, really beautiful, Julian, she told him. Really? I'm beautiful. Julian's eyes lit up. Jamie smiled and nodded. But soon, Julian's expression turned gloomy. Then why does it feel wrong when Noelle says it? Is it really bad to like dresses, dolls, and flowers, Jamie? Is it wrong to wear them? He looked like a lost kitten, teary-eyed and confused. He was just too cute to look at. Maybe they think it's wrong. But not me. To me, you're the kindest and most beautiful friend I've ever had. Even if you're a boy, no matter what you are, we'll always be friends. Julian smiled, looking just like a real princess, cuter than most girls. He rested his head on her shoulder as they relaxed in the garden. Jamie thought he had fallen asleep, but then he lifted his head and softly called her name. Jamie? Last night, Daddy was watching a film. I only caught the last part. It showed two people getting married. My dad said that if two people love each other, they should get married. I like you, Jamie. Do you like me too? Of course. I really, really like you. You're my favorite person in the whole world, Jamie said excitedly. Then, when we grow up, let's get married too, okay? Maybe? They say people who love each other are the ones who get married, right? Jamie was starting to feel confused by where this conversation was going. Really? We'll get married? Julian's face brightened. Then I'll tell Mommy what kind of wedding dress I'll wear when I grow up. What? No. I'm the one who should wear the wedding dress. Jamie suddenly pouted. Why you? Dresses look better on me. Julian frowned. Because you're a boy. I've never seen a boy wearing a wedding dress in church. I'm the girl, so I wear the dress. You should wear a tuxedo. Do you want to marry me or not? Jamie snapped. I do. Then wear the dress. Oh, fine. Julian pouted and turned away like a sulking child. Hey, don't be mad. You'll only wear a tux at the church. At home, you can wear dresses again. Jamie grinned, trying to cheer him up. Julian turned around. Really? Really? She replied, smiling wide. Then we need to wear something for our promise. Julian pulled out 2 cheap toy rings they bought from Arlene Gloria's store. A promise? He asked as he slipped the ring onto her finger. A promise, she said, placing the other ring on his. Then the two children, both still completely innocent about the world, shared their first kiss.
Chapter 4. New Classmate. Several years later, because of how close Julian and Jamie had become, Jamie was eventually able to convince Julian's parents to let him attend a real school. She had always felt it wasn't good for Julian to be studying alone at home. He wasn't developing proper social skills. His parents eventually agreed, mostly because Julian would always get restless whenever Jamie was at school. It was like he couldn't function properly without her. By the time they reached grade 9, Julian finally enrolled in a real classroom, and the moment he was introduced in front of the class, everyone was stunned. Wait, her name is Julian? That sounds like a boy's name, but she looks like a literal princess. She's insanely gorgeous. The comments were loud and non-stop as their teacher, Ms. Monica, introduced Julian to everyone. Julian shrank behind Jamie, clearly uncomfortable with the attention. Because of Julian's unique situation, his parents had made a special request to Ms. Monica not to disclose his gender to anyone. They wanted the classmates to figure it out for themselves. Even though Julian already knew he was biologically male, he still dressed in girly clothes and acted completely feminine. No one could tell he was a boy. He was small, thin, and only slightly taller than Jamie. His hair was long and curly, his skin fair and flawless thanks to constant skincare. He had kissable lips and long lashes. He even wore makeup. To be honest, he looked prettier than most of the girls in school, including Jamie. Jamie, is she your cousin or something? Why did you arrive together? Introduce us. Does she have a boyfriend? One question after another came from their classmates, and Julian clung to Jamie even tighter. We grew up together, Jamie replied firmly. And just so you know, if anyone messes with her, you'll have to deal with me. Why would we mess with her? Yeah, she's adorable. We want to be her friends. I want to be her boyfriend. The comments didn't stop coming. Class. Silence. Ms. Monica clapped her hands. Julian, go ahead and introduce yourself. You're not a little kid anymore. You can't keep hiding behind your best friend, she added. Jamie leaned toward him and whispered softly, "It's okay, Julian. You can do this." Her classmates looked surprised at her tone. Jamie was usually blunt and tough, but her voice turned warm whenever she spoke to Julian. Julian took a deep breath and stepped forward.
Hi, I'm Julian. This is my first time going to school because I was homeschooled my whole life. So I hope you'll be patient with me if I make mistakes. But I'll do my best to keep up with everyone. Nice meeting you all, he said with a shy bow. Everyone in class, boys and girls alike, seemed completely smitten with him. Julian was like a real-life Barbie doll, cute enough to be mistaken for a celebrity. All right, Julian, go ahead and choose a seat so we can start the lesson, Ms. Monica said. Just as they were about to move, chaos erupted again. Sit here. I saved a seat for you. Wanna sit with me? I have chocolates, I'll share them if you sit here. Julian panicked at the sudden rush of attention and immediately held onto Jamie's arm. Annoyed, Jamie shot their classmates a glare that made the entire class go quiet. He's sitting with me. Got it? Now zip it, she snapped. Julian wasn't used to this many people yet. He might get overwhelmed again if this kept up. So grumpy. Why does she act like she owns Julian? She's just lucky she's his best friend. He'll ditch her eventually. Jamie whipped around. Did any of you say something? Silence. No one dared speak again. She and Julian sat at the back of the class. Don't worry, Julian. I'll protect you, she whispered with a smile. Thank you, he replied, clearly comforted to be with her. A few weeks later, Julian barely left Jamie's side at school. He followed her everywhere, even to the girls' restroom. Thankfully, there were cubicles, so no one ever suspected a thing. Jamie, feed me, Julian said one lunchtime in the cafeteria. Giving her a puppy-eyed look, she glanced around nervously. Other students were nearby. Julian, eat by yourself, okay? People might get the wrong idea, she whispered. But why don't you feed me anymore? You used to do that all the time at home. Even if we're still together here, it feels like you're different now, Julian pouted. Jamie saw Julian really was like a child who always got what he wanted. A selfish little brat, she thought, but still, he was so adorable she couldn't say no. Okay, I'll feed you, but only if you promise to try talking to our other classmates. I don't need anyone else, Jamie. As long as I have you, I'm fine. Honestly, I wish we could just stay home and study like before. Then no one else would bother us. It would just be us, in our own little world. I hate our classmates, especially that guy, Sebastian. He keeps talking to me when you're not around. He even asked for my number and wanted to go on a date. Oh, so gross, Jamie. Julian made a face. Jamie froze. Because everyone thought Julian was a girl. He had no shortage of admirers, mostly boys. None of them dared approach while Jamie was around. But some assumed the two girls were a lesbian couple. She usually just laughed it off. If only they knew Julian was actually a boy. But then again, was he? Jamie used to think Julian might be gay. After all, he loved dolls, makeup, and dresses. He was more feminine than she was. He had more admirers than she'd ever had. But Julian never once mentioned being attracted to boys. "Julian, can I ask you something?" "What is it?" he said, sipping his chocolate drink. "Have you ever liked someone?" Julian froze. Then, with his usual innocent tone, "Sod, aside from my parents, there's only one person I like in this world, you, Jamie. You're the one I like." No, not that kind of like. "I know you like me, we've been together for years, but I mean in a romantic way. Have you ever had a crush on someone?" "I don't understand what you mean." "I already told you it's you. Have you ever liked a guy?" she asked, more directly now. Julian went quiet again, then frowned. "Why would I like a guy? They're disgusting. I don't like them. I like girls. They're soft and gentle. Like you." "Wait. Don't you believe me?" His voice cracked as tears welled up in his eyes. Jamie panicked. She hugged him quickly. "Hey, I'm sorry, okay. I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. I won't ask any more, promise." She had pushed too far, but her confusion only grew. Julian insisted on dressing like a girl, yet didn't seem attracted to guys. She couldn't figure it out, but one thing was clear: Julian was special. Pure, innocent, honest. He always spoke straight from the heart, and Jamie feared the day someone would take that innocence away. She would protect him no matter what. She wouldn't let anyone destroy Julian's pure.
Chapter 5. Rejection. Julian's paw. "Can I ask you to have lunch with me?" Julian turned around when he heard someone speak behind him. It was Sebastian, along with his group of friends. "No, I can't. I'm already having lunch with someone." "Jamie, she just went to the bathroom," he replied, glancing toward the girls' restroom on campus. "Can't you just say yes this once? I've been asking you for days now, but you keep turning me down." Sebastian pressed. "I said no. Why are you so persistent?" Julian replied, pouting. This wasn't the first time Sebastian had asked him out. He even did it once right in front of Jamie. Jamie didn't really mind, but she did say she preferred it if they only spent time together, just the two of them. So, in the end, they turned Sebastian down. Julian honestly didn't understand what Sebastian wanted. Why did he insist on spending time with him alone? The truth was, Julian didn't like Sebastian, but Jamie had warned him not to bluntly tell people that, saying it might offend them. Still, Julian didn't really care what other people thought. To him, only Jamie's opinion mattered. As long as he was with Jamie, nothing else mattered. Ever since they were kids, he had been content with just her. He didn't need anyone else. He never really wanted to go to school. He'd been used to homeschooling for most of his life, but he always felt sad whenever Jamie had to go and he was left behind at home. He just wanted to see her and be with her every day. He couldn't sit still whenever she was gone. That's why he finally agreed to study at the same school just so he could be with her every day. Luckily, they ended up in the same class too. "Why are you always with Jamie? You're like glue, you're stuck to each other. Can't be separated," Sebastian said, his tone growing irritated. "We've been friends since we were kids. And what's it to you?" Julian snapped. Sebastian looked offended, though he was clearly trying to keep his composure. He took a deep breath. "I like you," he suddenly blurted out. Everyone around them who heard it gasped in surprise. Oh my God, did Sebastian just confess to a girl? Girls are usually the ones chasing him, but I get it. Julian is really pretty. They actually look cute together. People began whispering all around them. "But I don't like you," Julian replied flatly. Sebastian froze in disbelief. "What? Are you serious? I'm Sebastian Collado. You're rejecting me? Don't you know how many girls chase after me? I don't care if a whole village is after you. Maybe they're chasing you down because you owe them money. Can you leave now? Jamie's coming back. His tone was completely unbothered by Sebastian's anger. Are you a lesbian? That's the only explanation I can think of. I mean, I'm smart, handsome, and rich, Sebastian bragged. Julian ignored him. He turned around and crossed his arms. Wow, she just rejected Sebastian like it was nothing. Julian's different. Honestly, it's a good thing. He's a womanizer, right? If she said yes, she'd just be another name in his collection. True. He's so arrogant. He acts like every girl should fall for him. Looks like he finally met his match. Sebastian's face turned sour as the whispers around them turned from admiration to ridicule. I'm talking to you, he shouted and grabbed Julian's shoulder to turn him around. Why are you yelling at my friend? A voice suddenly spoke from behind. It was Jamie. She was back. Sebastian keeps asking me to have lunch with him. Jamie. But I don't want to go with him. I only want to eat with you, Julian said, quickly holding on to Jamie. Sebastian was taken aback by how Julian's tone changed in an instant from indifferent to soft, sweet, and almost fearful. Jamie shot Sebastian a cold glare. You're getting mad just because she doesn't want to eat lunch with you. Are you trying to force her? Sebastian tried to stay calm. Of course not. Why would I do that? I don't need to force anyone to be with me. Fine. If you don't want to, then whatever. You'd better not. Because if you don't back off, I'll report you to the principal, Jamie threatened. Do what you want. I don't care. And with that, Sebastian stormed off, his group following after him. Are you okay, Julian? Did that jerk hurt you? Jamie asked, concerned. Julian shook his head. No, he didn't, but he keeps finding chances to approach me whenever you're not around. Jamie, I don't want to go anywhere with him. I only want to be with you, he said directly, hugging her tightly. Jamie smiled and hugged her back. Don't worry, I won't leave you alone again. Next time, just come to the bathroom with me. Okay, so you're never alone. Julian nodded and hugged her tighter. He always felt safe when he was with Jamie. When they were together, it was like nothing bad could happen. She was the only person who had ever been kind to him, who never looked at him with disgust even after learning everything about him. To Julian, Jamie was irreplaceable. She was the only one he ever wanted to be with for the rest of his life.